in a negative way towards a woman or a minority. Do you see that double standard? You're living it.
Of course there's a double standard. I mean, honestly, women are prepared to disagree if the disagreement is respectful. We know that. I think most men are. But in politics, and this is why so many people have just given up on politics. In politics, everything is an argument. Everything is vitriolic, and you're absolutely right. The left wing has a double standard. In fact, one of the things I want to point out, and will continue to point out, is the policies that Hillary Clinton, for example, is espousing. The policies that Bernie Sanders is espousing are bad for women.
Do you think she's a third term of Obama?
Yes, at least. But, you know, if you listen to her speech on Roosevelt Island, she, in fact, is doubling down. She said she would go further than President Obama on illegal immigration, for example.
You know, it's funny because I did listen to her, and it sounds like the old Democratic playbook. It's going to be black versus white, rich versus poor, old versus young, and Republicans want to throw grandma over the cliff. One of the things you've also taken on about Hillary is this Clinton Foundation and taking money from countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Oman, Kuwait, that have atrocious records on women's rights and gay and lesbian rights, and here's what you've said.
It took the Associated Press to find out that Bill Clinton had apparently set up some kind of shell foundation to funnel some kind of money through. I don't know. I don't know if that was untoward or not, but it would be helpful if she or he would answer a question about it.
What do you think about them taking money from countries that treat women so horribly? Women in Saudi Arabia can't drive. She's not critical of them. And yet they take all this money from her.
Well, again, it's called hypocrisy. It's one thing to go to China in 1998 and talk about women's rights in a big photo op.
Did they donate money to her? No, I don't think they did.
And it's another thing to actually have your actions match your words. And honestly, I think it's why so many people are tired of politics, because in politics, and Hillary Clinton is a master at this, President Obama is a master at this, it's about giving a good speech. It's about wonderful words. But in the real world that we all live in every day, people know actions speak louder than words. People know that if your actions don't match your words, which Hillary Clinton's actions do not match her words, then you're not trustworthy as a leader.
What do you make of Benghazi and the lie that was told? First, I think the mistakes made before, not providing requested security, during stand-down orders, and then after, a made-up tale about a YouTube video that was responsible for this, and this being spontaneous. Now we know, in fact, they knew within minutes it was terror.
Right.
And then holding back documents, then emails not handed over, and then a server that is erased and eliminated. What do you make of, what kind of person would do that?
Yeah, it's just unbelievable, isn't it? But let's back up just for a moment and say, imagine what you're thinking if you are a terrorist or an enemy of the United States, and you know that a terrorist attack has just occurred, that Americans have been murdered, and then you watch while the Secretary of State and the President of the United States lie, say, gee, this was a videotape. What do you conclude from that? You conclude from that, well, I guess we can go on. We're not going to get pushback. What do you conclude when a year later there's been a single arrest made of a videographer in L.A. and one other guy, pardon me, there were two arrests. One guy in Libya who rots in some Manhattan jail. What do you conclude? You conclude this is a nation that lacks the resolve to push back and challenge our adversaries. Never mind the incredible disrespect paid to the fallen and to the families of the fallen when Hillary Clinton stands over their caskets and sort of continues this fiction.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're just getting things started. 2016 GOP presidential candidate Carly Fiorina, she'll be here for the hour tonight. Coming up, we'll talk about defeating ISIS, negotiating with Iran, and how do you fix America's broken foreign policy and the economy. Also, you've been sending us questions on Facebook and Twitter. We're going to ask Carly Fiorina some of those questions later in the program. Please stay with us.
We can rebuild an alliance to fight ISIS, but we have to lead and we have to give our allies what they are asking us.